And our big story tonight, the historic Held versus Montana trial concluded today in Helena. This case is the first youth climate change lawsuit filed in the United States to make it to trial. And its outcome has huge implications for the nation. Good Tuesday evening, everyone. Thank you for joining us. My name is John Martin. Now, Rin Wadsworth has been following the trial closely, and she has the details of today's proceedings.
As we've mentioned many times, this case is the first youth climate change lawsuit filed in the U.S. to make it to trial. And the outcome of this suit has huge implications for the nation.
During the first week of the trial, the 16 young plaintiffs testified about their experiences with Montana's changing climate over their lifetimes and how it's impacted the way they live. The plaintiffs' attorneys also called several climate change scientists, and experts were brought to the stand to testify about the dramatic changes that had taken place over the same time. In closing arguments, however, the defense asserted that there is little evidence to support this claim and that global warming is a global issue rather than an individual state's responsibility.
There was not any testimony quantifying the incremental impact to Montana's environment. Was there any testimony about the effects in Montana from Montana's GHG contribution? No, only about the impact of the global emissions. Was there any testimony about even a fraction of an ounce of greenhouse gases that the new NEPA provision somehow facilitated? No. Was there any testimony that the new NEPA provision has damaged plants? No. The law requires that a person alleging harm due to the actions of another must prove that their harm was caused by the other. That's true whether the case is about a Colorado Act of crime or the Constitution of Montana. And it's plaintiff's burden to prove, not the state's burden to disprove.
The plaintiff's attorney countered in his closing argument, saying that just because there is an established law doesn't mean the law wouldn't need to be amended later on. He urged the court to think of the fundamental human rights that they say are outlined constitutionally.
Montana's long-standing energy system, which the NEPA limitation is part of, violates plaintiffs' fundamental constitutional rights. And when constitutional rights are infringed, courts have a duty to provide redress. And this court can and should enjoin any action or law that violates plaintiffs' fundamental rights. In this ruling, plaintiffs find relief and hope in their future in this great state of Montana.
During the second week of proceedings, the state was expecting several witnesses, including Dr. Judith Curry, a climate scientist. However, last week, Dr. Curry canceled her appearance, and the expert testimonies refuting her reports were withdrawn. The state also declined to call several other of their witnesses to the stand.
The presiding judge in this case says she's waiting for the final reports from both sides before she begins the process of making her verdict on Held versus Montana. At this time, it is unclear when we can expect that verdict, but we'll keep you updated once that decision is made public. I'm Ren Wadsworth. Back to you.
Good.